Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm asking just one question, and that is, what is a Robert Plant sandwich? Yes, you're right, you've never heard of this because until yesterday, well, neither had I, and to be honest, it was just intrigue got the better of me. A fellow beer aficionado on YouTube called Rocker's Beer Reviews released a video yesterday, a couple of days ago by the time you see this, called the Robert Plant sandwich and what is it? And well, if you don't know, Robert Plant is most famously known for being the singer-songwriter of Led Zeppelin, and apparently he had a pretty kind of unusual requirement on his, I don't know what they call it, I can't remember, there's a term, I want to say roster, but that's not the right word, but you know, the requirement sheet, and it was this fairly odd looking sandwich. Now, before I dive into it, I'm going to show you how I made it now, but we'll be cutting back into right in this moment, in a few minutes time, to give it a taste. So the start of this sandwich will start as any good sandwich should, which is with 2 slices of bread, and we're going to immediately take those away and pop them in the toaster to be toasted incredibly lightly. That part is key, really not an entire toaster session, just get them a little bit warm and a little bit crisp, but really just hot bread is the thing we're going for. Next up, you're going to want to get a Pyrex bowl, and in that is going to go a small tin of tuna already drained. And then, of course, a good helping of mayonnaise to turn this into a traditional tuna mayo mix. And then we have this first slightly quirky stage of this recipe. We're going to add some chopped onion into the mix. To be honest, the amount of onion that I use I'm not entirely sure of, but you can kind of get a rough idea from the image here. The only thing I'll say is I could have definitely taken a little less onion in mine. It was still delicious, but maybe don't go overboard unless you really like onion. Continue mixing that together so it forms an emulsive paste, and of course add more mayonnaise should you be required, because well, what's not better with more mayonnaise? Now we take our very slightly toasted slices of bread and place the mixture on top of them evenly over the 2 slices. And once completed, these are going onto a grill pan and under the grill for a few minutes for our second toasting. The key here is just to draw a little moisture out of the tuna, but not to go too far so that the bread starts to brown properly. Now that our second toasting is complete, it's time for the second quirky element of this dish, and that is some fresh chilies. Quantity pretty much unknown, just as much as you feel you can handle. I used, well, this much. Right now you'll start to notice some repetition. We're straight back under the grill for our third toasting. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure why we're toasting this one. I guess it's just to get a bit of char onto the chilies before the final stage. And it should come as no surprise that this final stage is indeed cheese. I'm using some pre-grated mozzarella because, well, to be honest, I was lazy and it was pre-grated, but a mature cheddar would do here absolutely just fine. Try and get as good a covering as you can, because otherwise the bread's going to go a bit over, but now get these back under the grill for their final toasting and take out once the cheese is done, so basically however you like it. Now just wait around for a few minutes while that cheese gets nice, bubbly and golden, and then it's time to serve. So yeah, that is how I made this sandwich. It's basically tuna mayonnaise with some onion, with some chilli, with some cheese, which doesn't sound awful, but not a common combination, I'm sure you'll agree. So, is it any good? Well, I'm a big sandwich fan. I'm starting to regret not having done anything sandwich related on the channel before now, because to be honest, I get pretty passionate about them. So, just before I dive in, here is a look. And you know what, it looks pretty decent. I don't know what to expect. It'll probably be a bit fiery, it'll probably be a bit cheesy, and it'll probably be a bit fishy. So, cheers. Oh yeah, there's chilli in there. Tell you what though, that's not bad. Well, I'm not really sure why it's toasted so many times. It's probably unnecessary, and as a result you end up with a lot of little burnt bits around the edges, but that's minor fry really. The textures are good. They've got a nice load of different things going on in there. I may have gone overboard with the chilli because it is quite hot, this one, but I'm still tasting a lot of other things as well. I am now a fan of adding onion into tuna mayo, but what really works is the fact that it's tuna mayo and then cheese and onion. You kind of get in both in one, and obviously tuna and cheese works as per a tuna melt, which is effectively what this is, just with a few other ingredients and opened up. I mean, is it really a sandwich, or is this just a lot of things on toast? It's for you to decide, but yeah, it's pretty damn decent. Things I would say to improve it, I mean, instead of putting your toast in the toaster to start with, I'm maybe tempted to toast one side under the grill for the base, because it's getting a bit soggy, and then laying everything up on the untoasted side so that gets toasted less overall, possibly. But overall, this is not a bad option. I think it's fair to say you've got to be a fan of bold flavours to enjoy this, which I am, so it's fine, but there's a lot of onion, there's a lot of chilli, but the slightly more subtle tuna, and in my case, mozzarella cheese, you know, they're still shining through. If you used a mature cheddar, I'm sure that would be a significant difference, but you know what? This is a damn good lunch. There is, of course, a whole story about how this became known at this point in time. It didn't just come out of the ether. I'm not going to give you that spiel because that, I believe, is rightly the kind of storytelling properties of Rocker's Beer Review. So a link to the video that he did in the description below for you to go and check out and find out what the story is for yourself. The way I made this was a touch different to the way he did it. I shredded the onion more finely and stuff, that sort of thing. But overall, I think it's a pretty true representation. I also used a fair bit more chilli, which, well, I'm not regretting right now, but we might do later. I'll be honest, I was a little dubious about this mix before I started. I nearly didn't even do the video, to be honest, because when I saw the video I thought, oh, that's a good idea, and then I thought, well, it's surely just, I kind of feel like I know what it's going to be like, and I'll be a bit, nah, not that bothered. I was wrong. This is actually a really good combo. If I were to do this again, which I will, I would do the onion exactly the same, maybe use a touch less than I did, but overall keep it pretty much the same, and the tuna mayo mix, fine. I might be tempted though to forego the actual chilies and use a chili hot sauce to mix in with that blend so it's kind of consistent all the way through. What I'm getting with this is cool moments and then really quite high spice moments, and it's just kind of ebbing and flowing that way. Maybe that's part of the allure, I'm not sure, but I would like to try it that different way just to find out. I've got one left. I'm going to go and eat this now. It was absolutely delicious, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to see that. So there's your answer. That's what the Robert Plant sandwich is. I kind of want them to call it the Robert Plantwich rather than the Robert Plant sandwich. The Robert Plant sandwich really sounds like something that should be almost entirely made of plant, but that's not the case. There's plenty of veggies in it, of course, but certainly not the whole thing either. So yeah, there we go. If you give this a go, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you got on with it. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it if you haven't already. Subscribe if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.